said to me that I mentioned that Dodge was at the bottom. And so I thought about that, and I said, you know what, she's got a good point. I just want to make sure everybody that's listening right now, any information that I share with you, first of all, my hope is to make sure that I'm as completely biased as possible and make sure that it comes across in the most professional, sincere way. But in addition, if I quote a site or a number, please, verify what I'm telling you. I want to make sure everybody knows that you have the, I try to give all the information where you can go to the site and verify, because what I was going off of last week was strictly the J.D. Powers. I was reading the results. It wasn't something that I came up with as an opinion. So, but she had a good point, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned that because I wouldn't want anyone to be misled. That's not the purpose of what we're doing today. We want to make sure that you're led in the right way. At any rate, let's continue forth. Brad, you did good last time, buddy. How you feel? You getting loose?
Doing okay.
You getting warmed up here. Okay, Brad, let's go over the second one, the second myth of why someone would possibly not want to bring their car to an automotive dealership.
One of the things I think people think is the high-pressure upsell process that's done in the service department.
Okay. What do you think about that, Chip?
I never have experienced that. I've never been pressured at the service department. I've been pressured in the showroom before, but not in the service department.
Well, so that's interesting. So Brad, how do you think that happens? Tell the listener now, and we won't have to tell some because some have felt it, but those that may feel like Chip, explain how someone could perceive or feel like that they're being pressured. What's the process when the car comes into the shop?
Well, you come in for a basic service, and one of the processes we use is a complete inspection form. And we're going to check your car top to bottom, front to back, inside and out. And unfortunately, at times, we're going to come across issues that need to be addressed.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But the one thing that, no matter if you're at our store or anyone else's store, is you ought to feel comfortable to have the service advisor walk you back to your car and point it out to you.
Sure.
Let you see it.
That's big.
Don't just go off what they're telling you.
That's big. Mm-hmm. Now, let me stop you there. Would you say, now this is rhetorical for me, but again for the listener, would you say that even though you and I know we have an inspection form, and we assume that most car dealerships have that same form because we're in various meetings with service personnel across the country, how about the independent shop? Do you think they have that same form?
I honestly can't answer that.
Okay.
I've only ever been involved with one independent, and he did not.
Okay. All right. So there could be something. Maybe someone's used to bringing their car to an independent shop, and they've never been presented with one of those forms, an inspection sheet, and then they come to the dealership and they go, "Whoa, what do we got here? What is this? This is kind of thing." So if you're listening right now. What we do and what most dealers do, I think I can't verify this because I can't. I've never asked an independent owner, but typically an inspection form is semi-standard across the board. If you're a business owner, one of the main reasons why I want to make sure Brad does this 100% of the time. Yes, we want to note if anything's wrong with the vehicle, if there's any opportunity to make additional money. Of course, we want to make sure if there's a service that can be provided, we want to do that. But for me, the owner. The last thing I would ever want to have happen is, Chip, you bring your car to me. We didn't have a process in place where we checked your car out. But we knew something was up.
I got you.
But we didn't say anything to you because we just didn't think you're going to buy it, or we didn't think whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. There's no formal documentation. You didn't receive a copy of anything that needed to be done. Nothing's noted in the computer, but we saw something, and God forbid you take your car down the road and something happens. And then all of a sudden, customers back at the dealership saying, hey, did you know this was going on? Did you know this was the case? Why didn't you tell me? That would be catastrophic. That would be awful. So if you're ever at a car dealership and they present you with that, you're going to want that, number one. You're going to want a copy of that, number two. And number three, you don't have to buy anything from the car dealership. You don't have to buy anything. But you want to make sure you're aware. Now, what we do, and I think this is something that Brad's been doing for years that he implemented at our store, is we just classify everything as green for go, yellow for caution, and red we got a problem. So if Brad's guys are presenting something, or we actually have Sherry, a female, presenting something because there's male and female service writers, to gauge it. Okay, is this a red item? Is this a yellow item? Is this a green item? Okay, so that's something that we like to do. Brad, what else did you note that you think is important for a consumer to realize as far as upsells? How do they avoid being pressured, or what do you recommend if someone is putting pressure on somebody? What would you do? What would you tell them?
Well, like you were saying, Louie, everything's done in a green is good, yellow is we're going to need to look at it, red needs to be done immediately. They need to be able to work with the customer for their budget and their time frame,
right,
and prioritize what needs to be done over what period of time.
Right.
And let it be the customer's ultimate decision on what and when they get done.
Now, do consumers have the option? I'm asking you this. This is crazy because it's my dealership, and I let you run the shop because I trust you that much, and you know that. Do we have anything in place at our dealership that if somebody doesn't have the funds, but we know something's red, that we'll work with them over a 90-day period, or we'll work with them on I mean, I know I don't want to open up a can of worms because we don't do promissory notes and that kind of stuff. But what do we do anything? Because I let you handle that. What do we normally do?
We actually have a program through Toyota. It's 120 days, same as cash.
Embarrass myself there, right? We got a program. I'm the Toyota dealer, right? But Toyota doesn't subsidize anything, right? We're still on the hook, right?
No, we're still on the hook.
Okay.
Yeah. Brad, let me ask you this: if somebody comes in a car that's maybe 8-10 years old, worth a couple $1,000s, and they've got some big problems, and it's a $1,200 service bill, have you ever recommended they maybe don't get it fixed?
Every day. Every day.
Yeah. In fact, Brad, the service writers get upset sometimes because those guys, obviously they get paid on what work is performed, but a lot of times Brad will immediately, if he sees a $4,000 car and needs $1,000 worth of work, he's immediately going, whoa. So let's see if we can, $1,000 down would go a lot further on a new car or a pre-owned car than it would than putting money in this car. And a lot of times, Brad, you're shocked how many customers actually have a $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 car and they'll spend $2,500 after you tell them. I've seen you, to make sure. I mean, it's shocking, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, I actually asked those people to sign off stating that they understand that, the car's not really worth what they're fixing to spend.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's a good deal. Well, good.
And that's something that an independent shop couldn't offer as well. They couldn't say, hey, come check out our used cars.
Thanks for the plug, Chip. I appreciate that. That's right. That is true, though. We do have the availability that if we can put somebody into a pre-owned vehicle or brand new or late model, used car. So Brad, I'm proud of you, but you're doing a good job. So as we go to a break, to go ahead and tease them, what's another thing that you think as we go to a break that we'll talk about when we come back?
There's a misconception that dealers don't do anything but warranty work.
A misconception. Okay, that's It's okay. So when we come back, we'll talk about that. And again, the phone number, Chip.
If you've got a question about service, maybe why you would not want to take your car to a dealer, let's hear from you. 706-453-4140 or star 1039 if you got an AT&T wireless phone. It's Super Thursday with Chip Linus, Louie Herron, and Brad Duren from Louie Herron Toyota in Milledgeville. We've got Temptations coming up next on the dock.